Welcome to the Patterson Library Connection. In this episode of our podcast, we'll share good news and library happenings, talk to fun and interesting guests, and connect with our Patterson community. I'm Lillie Musenti, Marketing and Program Director here at the library. In today's episode, I'm talking to Pastor David Frost from the Patterson Community Church and Rachel Roberts, two people making a huge impact in our community. Thanks for joining us. Now let's get started. Hi, Adam.
Hi, Lillie.
So this is a big milestone for us today.
We did it.
We did.
We made it.
A year ago this month, we started our podcast and recorded our first episode.
It seems like yesterday. I know that's cliche to say, but then you look back and you look at all our great guests and all the very interesting evolution that we've done in the past year. I'm sure we'll listen back to our first episode and be like, wow.
Yeah, it has been a great run. So I really have loved doing this. This is really something that has grown in popularity, and we're getting a great following. And like you said, we've had so many great guests. I have to say, we've had so many guests that have taught me something, and I love that. I feel like we've learned so much, and we've covered everything from people on Broadway and Carnegie Hall to the White House, and we've spoken to authors and musicians, storytellers and artists, local community members and organizations, and it's just so great for them to be our guests for us, but hopefully we're making a difference for them too and helping to get the word out about what they do. And I think we're having a little bit of an impact here, so it's great.
I think that's amazing to hear, and I feel it too. And whenever we get feedback from the community, even for our own selves, that feels really nice. But I definitely agree that I hope that our mission here has been to successfully help our community and all the guests that come on and all of our listeners too, and provide not only something fun and entertaining, but informational, and maybe help people change their lives a little bit, or improve and incrementally move towards having a better thing for everybody all around, especially in Patterson and our surrounding community.
Sure. I mean, our goal was to stay connected with the community and to let people know what's going on. And this format really allows us such a broad reach, and people can listen to it at any time of the day, and they don't have to catch it when it's on, and I think that's huge. And like you said, we've gotten great feedback, and I know we're still learning with each episode, but we are growing. And I've had people actually reach out to me and ask if they can be a guest on the podcast, which I was so excited about. It was wonderful.
It's a nice a turn of the corner there.
Yeah, it really is. So it's nice to know that people are listening and that hopefully we're making a difference to them. And the library has so many wonderful resources, and so do some of the other organizations around here and what they offer people. But if people don't know, then they can't access them. So hopefully this is just one more way to help get the word out about what we have to offer. So
my neighbor just asked me the other day, she knew I work with the library and I do this podcast, if there's a photocopy here in the library. I said, absolutely yes. I use it because I don't have a printer. So come on down, get those copies.
Yeah, copiers and fax machine and scanner and a notary. I mean, you can borrow museum. There are so many resources. One of these days, our next podcast maybe, we'll talk more about all the resources we have.
I like it. Yeah, we should, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I think we should. I do find it really rewarding when people come in and they say, I loved the museum I went to see, or I came in, I did a whole photo album for my daughter, and I used a scanner, and it really is nice to know that what we provide the community gets used, and it makes a difference to people. So yeah, getting the word out about that is important, and this is just one more way we're doing it. So, and like I've said before, without you, none of this would have happened. So thank you.
Well, right back at you, Lillie, and it's been my honor and pleasure working with you this past year, and I'm looking forward to another great year and a really fun springtime. All in all, that's good news.
It is good news, but I have even more good news.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let's go on to that. And now it's time for some good news. We are all so happy that Miss Jen, our Youth Services Coordinator, will be back at the library starting the first week of April. If you don't know Miss Jen, she brings her special brand of energy and positivity to the library, and we know she was missed all of the kids and families have stopped in to say, when is she coming back? And she will be back soon. The first week of April, she will be back in the Family Center to say hi to everybody. And she does come back just in time for the busy spring lineup of activities that happen during Spring Break Camp Week. And that's the week of April 14th. There are so many fun programs planned, so be sure to check them out on our website calendar. And please stop in and say hi to Miss Jen. She can't wait to see you too. And that's our good news. And now I'd like to introduce our special guests, Pastor David Frost and Rachel Roberts. Thank you both for being our guests today.
Thanks for asking us, Lillie.
Thanks for the invite.
We're really thrilled to have you here. You are both so actively involved in the Patterson community. You're both people that make a big impact on this community and wear many hats. Tell us a bit about yourselves. David, you want to start?
Well, how much time you got?
We got plenty of time.
Actually, I've been in town for a long, long time. My dad came as a pastor here in 1966, so I'm one of the oldies. And so I've been involved in that church for a long time, and actually didn't go to seminary until I was 50 years old, and was commissioned to be the pastor back in 2009.
Wow, is that something you always wanted to do?
You know, for a long time I resisted it, but yeah, I think so. I think it was.
Wow. Rachel, how about you?
I've been in this area since 2017. I moved up here from Long Island.
And I know I see you everywhere. You're at the firehouse events and now at the church. How did you get involved with the church?
When I moved here, it was just my daughter and I, and we were seeking a sense of community, and we needed a place to belong, and we found Patterson Community Church. And we've been there ever since.
Well, the church does so many wonderful things. And I know, David, we have seen you everywhere, from the Christmas tree lightings to every event here in town. And you do so much for this community. And as you said, your dad was here for many, many years. And now you've taken over the reins. You've done a lot of things that help support this community in so many ways. And I read that you said the church has a congregation made up of both Sunday worshipers and those who support your mission. How does that help you achieve your mission? And what exactly is the mission?
Well, I'm not sure where to start, but you're right. What I've said in the past is it's like we have two different congregations. There are those who come through the doors who are, like Rachel, seeking a sense of community and family. And then there's those who don't necessarily want to go to church, but believe in what we're doing. And so they come out to help and they volunteer. We have probably almost as many members as non-members who actually actively work in the various outreach programs we have in the church.
That makes for a very strong congregation, and that's why you're able to do so much in this town. And like I said, Rachel, I know you said you help at the church, and there is a beautiful new community kitchen, and you do some of the cooking there.
Yes, this was a vision David and I shared, David had, and then getting to know each other. We're both passionate about it. And we spent a long time driving back and forth to Long Island, David and I, and many hours of talking. And as we spoke, things were coming into place, and the community kitchen evolved into what it is today.
It's wonderful. And I know when I came to work here at the library, I wanted to make a difference in this community. And the one thing I learned along the way is how invaluable community partnerships are and how it really does take a village to make things happen.
We felt that to be relevant to the community, we had to serve the community in very visible ways. And I think we have at least 3 members of the church who are part of the Patterson Rotary Club. And that Rotary Club has been very, very supportive, both in putting the kitchen together as well as actually buying a greenhouse with a grant for the food production for that. We also have had a long-standing relationship with Town Square Pizza and with Steve and Lenny Sorrell, and now with the new owners, in that they provide all of the foodstuffs we need for all of our chicken barbecues and St. Patrick's Day dinners and all that sort of thing. So a lot of people have kicked in to help. And we also had a long relationship with Hudson Valley Community Services, which I'm not sure what their name is now. They seem to change every 6 months, but basically it's an agency down right now in Mount Ebo that serves individuals experiencing disabilities. And they've been a big help over time, too, with helping us meet our goals.
In addition to everything David said, I joined the Patterson Fire Department about 2.5 years ago. Since then, we've had help from the firefighters. They came to help build the kitchen.
They've been very supportive in the food preparation for the lunches and such, too.
Yeah.
So it is all about partnerships. I know here at the library we have a food pantry collection box in our vestibule year-round, and we do all kinds of drives, coat drives, toiletry drives, diapers, and throughout the year we see this community coming together, and they're very generous to help everybody. And I know you guys have the food pantry, the thrift shop, and now the community kitchen. What do you see as the needs in this community?
Well, with the cost of living going up so much, it's hard to get by. I can tell you as a one-income household myself, it's rough. It's rough to make ends meet. And as a nurse, I see people in the community, the elderly who are on fixed incomes, who are struggling even worse than I am. I can go and work extra hours. They can't. So we welcome everybody to the community kitchen.
So the community kitchen is not just for people in need. It is community-based, so anybody can come?
Yeah, it's really an attempt to continue to build community. Actually, we distribute food every week at our food pantry, except for the fourth Sunday when Rachel prepares a lunch for the community at large. And so we invite the folks who partake at the food pantry as well as anybody else. So it gives a chance for our congregation to mingle with that group of people as well as anyone else who wants to come in. And we've seen a real upswell of assistance and volunteerism in preparing for that and in serving and, importantly, cleaning up after that on those 4 Sundays. That's been very heartening for me.
I know a few people that come in here and have told us they've come and they've really enjoyed it. We see that here. People need a place to gather, a place to feel less isolation. And as you said, a lot of the seniors in this community, so many of them feel that their friends have moved away or passed on, and they are alone. So we have people that come in all the time looking for a place to gather. So having another place is, I think, invaluable. I think it serves such a greater need than just the food, obviously. But it is important for people to have that socialization and to be around other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that building where the community kitchen is housed used to be a schoolhouse, Patterson schoolhouse.
Oh, wow.
And then for a while it was owned by the Grange, and they kind of aged out and gave it back to the church. And at that point we picked it up. But it has been a labor of love to get it into what it is now, which is an incredible venue that we're making available too for smaller groups, receptions or parties or meetings or whatever. Once a month we have a Rotary evening meeting there, as a matter of fact, just because it's a space that we want to make useful. We have 3 buildings currently, and at a time when many churches are trying to divest their buildings because they're expensive to upkeep. But we figured if we can use them, then we should use them. And so our church we use in many, many ways. Right now there's a big band rehearsing there. They come every other Wednesday. And every Monday night there's another big band that rehearses there. We have all kinds of events going on there. And so trying to multi-use all those buildings and make it so that it's not only real community service, but it's able to be maintained financially.
And that is something that also this town really needs, is meeting space.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we hear that a lot here too.
We also rent our kitchen. It's Board of Health approved, and we currently have one group of home-based cooking chefs that use our kitchen on a weekly basis.
That is really good to know. Maybe I will come and use your kitchen. I have a lot of company. We make stuffed peppers every year, and we have like 30, 40 people that come and gather and to do that.
We're ready. We're ready. Just let us know.
To make it affordable, and we just want people to use the space, love the space, and the feedback we get is it's great vibes.
And it is a nice way to bring in some revenue, like you say, to help sustain these programs. I know here we even have the Meals on Main Street truck comes every Tuesday, and we see so many people online. So the need for additional help to help people with food scarcity issues, and like you said, with the rising cost of food and the economic conditions. Do you see the needs of this community changing in the future? How do you think this is going forward?
I mean, it all depends on how our economy turns. Nobody can give a accurate prediction, but I mean, if it keeps going down, then it's gonna, cost of living goes up, eggs at $6 a dozen. Then the needs will go up for sure. Mm-hmm.
It is difficult because we don't have a large tax base in this town. But we do have a lot of residents, many of whom are on fixed incomes. And so some of them get priced out of being able to stay and have to leave. But there's a lot of need. We see people come to the food pantry who you would never expect to be there. Because just looking at them, it's like they shouldn't have to be at a food pantry, but they may be one of the ones that was recently laid off. They may be one that lost their job in the pandemic. So there's all kinds of reasons that people are food insecure. And so we try to meet those needs however we can. We're also one of the few pantries, if not the only pantry in the area that doesn't have a residency restriction, that you don't have to be from Patterson to get food here. In some of the other local ones, you have to be from that town. Mm-hmm. But we don't put that on.
Well, our pantry's a little different from other pantries. The ladies who run it, their vision is to keep the dignity, make it like a grocery shopping experience.
Once people come, they know that we tell them all the time, to come to you, and we give them the dates and hours. And they're always so grateful once they go. They really are. So you guys do an amazing thing for everyone. Let's talk a little bit about the thrift shop, the Blue Door Thrift Shop. What is that about, and who runs that?
Actually, we have a church council, kind of like a board, and we give each person on the council a particular area of responsibility. So Rachel's is the kitchen. Okay, we have another person who does the actual food pantry because they're quite different entities. And then Stacy Spinney, actually from the post office, runs the thrift shop. And that's been there for many, many years. And it's the same kind of a principle that if someone comes to the food pantry in need, we will try to meet that need. That's the only thing we ask is if you have a need, that's why we're here. And with the thrift shop, it is an important source of revenue for the church, but it's also if someone comes in who has need, then we will help meet that need. We've had people come in or call in and say, my friend's house burned down, can you help out? It's like, yeah, take what you need. We have a whole lot of volunteers there who spend not only time on Thursdays and Saturdays when it's open, but also on another 1 or 2 days a week trying to just sort through the generous donations that come in from everybody. We tried to close donations during the pandemic, but that's when everybody was home sorting out things. So we got a tremendous amount of materials in, but you never know. I mean, there's always stuff that's worth keeping. Stuff that we can't use, we move through the BETS organization and things like that.
There are a lot of people that look to donate things, and I know they love bringing stuff over there because you feel good about helping your own community. And as you said, people always have a different reason for a need. So it is another great resource for this town.
I just want to add that our food outreach program does include the food pantry, which gets a lot of things from the Hudson Valley Food Bank. They also, during the pandemic, there were, I think it was probably state laws that kind of made it necessary, or the local supermarkets had to recycle the things that were, instead of just throwing out food. So they when it gets close to a sell-by date, they freeze it, and then we pick it up every week. So we get a lot of materials from Hannaford's, from Acme, from Trader Joe's, other places like that we then can repurpose because we keep it frozen. We have a walk-in freezer and a walk-in fridge in the kitchen. So that's an important part of it. But also, we have an organic garden program that we've had for years right next to the church. And then a couple of years ago, we leased a 4-acre space up at the church camp on Denton Lake Road in Holmes. And so we grow a lot of organic produce, and we use it both for a small farm stand as well as for our food pantry. And now Rachel will be using it for the kitchen. But we also have been a part of the Meals on Main Street program. This is our second year there. So some of the food you may have gotten here may have come from our gardens.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I know you have seen our garden out there, and I try really hard every year. And some years we have thousands of zucchinis that we give out to the public as well. And then other years we can't give you even a tomato. I don't know why. And we have, it's so fun. We have a lot of kids that enjoy learning about gardening, and a lot of people that do come and enjoy going through it. Our herbs always do so well. So that's what we can always promise. But the gardening aspect and having organic produce is awesome too, because it's so expensive to buy produce. So I think that's wonderful that you do that, and having another use for it in the kitchen. So what do you like to make, Rachel? What is it that you cook for people?
Oh, anything. I just go by the ingredients. What do we have? And between Google, my brain, we'll come up with a meal.
That's nice. How many people have come to the luncheons? I know I've seen on Facebook a room full of people. It looks like it's really catching on.
Yeah, we're averaging about 30, 35 people so far.
Nice.
Hopefully this will get the word out and more people will realize that it's not, you don't have to be a client of the food pantry it really is a sense to, it's an attempt to expand the community as well as to serve those who truly do have need.
Yeah, we have room for growth. Everyone's taking home leftovers at this point, so.
And how many people does the room hold if somebody did want to rent it out?
The health department sets that capacity restriction, and it's around 50.
Oh, nice.
But we've had dinners and things where people have come in and then we reset a table and we keep serving. So
that is another great resource for this town. You seem to cover so many different things. You really fill a lot of voids here and meet the needs of the people in so many different ways. And I've also heard that you make church fun. People have said that. It's great coming to your church. So there's a music ministry as well.
The music ministry, that goes back a long, long ways. Back when my dad was pastor for 17 years, we shared the church with Sacred Heart, Roman Catholic Church. So they would have a church on this side of town instead of just in Putt Lake. And out of that arose a music ministry that served both congregations. And so I'm kind of like the last vestige of who that was. And so we don't currently have a keyboard player, so it's guitars and drums and that sort of thing. And when I was young in the church, we had an organist who was actually the hardware store owner in Holmes, John Crawford. He was a Scotsman who loved to play the old hymns. And once a month we'd have a potluck dinner, and then we'd sit down and sing the old hymns, which is where I fell in love with them because a lot of them are beautiful songs and they have great messages. A lot of people kind of don't sing them anymore, but we do a mix of that as well as contemporary Christian music, as well as songs that myself or another friend have written to kind of mix it up. And we have maybe somewhere, it kind of goes up and down. But right now, about 6 or 8 people that come up and sing the songs during worship. We have 5 songs during the worship. But also, we took the pews out a number of years ago to trying to make the building a little more usable, multi-usable. And so we have various concerts. We have 3 or 4 concerts a year. And the big bands that have just started recently practicing have also said they'd love to do a benefit concert. So there's a lot that goes on with music. We really enjoy it.
I know we do our concerts here and we get a nice turnout and people are always looking for music. So it's really nice to be able to have that at the church. So you have a strong community base. How can people get involved if they want to help?
They can just stop down on Sunday, Saturday, Thursday. They can reach out on Facebook. We're active on Facebook. The Patterson Community Church. Search it. It'll come right up. The Blue Door Thrift Store also has a Facebook page. I'm not sure how active it is. It's on and off. And we also have our website at pattersоncommunitychurch.org.
And our telephone number, if you just choose to call and leave a message, is 845-878-3961.
Yeah. Several of my kitchen volunteers literally just showed up. They said, I wanted to help, and I was told to show up. So they did.
We had a gal find us on Facebook who said, I just want to help garden, but I can only come at night. I said, well, that's all right. We'll take you whenever you can come. So she's been 2 years now helping us. So
awesome. Yeah, it's nice when people have a place to share their skills. And when it goes to that kind of great use, it's even more impactful and everybody feels great about that.
Yeah, I think everybody really wants to give back. They just need a place that they trust and a place they believe in and a willingness of the people to welcome them. So that's what we try to do.
Patterson Community Church certainly fits that bill. We really appreciate all that you do, and thank you so much for being here. We really hope we can get the word out for you about the Patterson Community Kitchen and everything else you do. Thank you both for all you do for this community and for being our special guest today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lillie.
Thank you for tuning into the Patterson Library Connection. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us grow, please share it with a friend. You can follow and subscribe to our podcast on our website, pattersonlibrary.org, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. This podcast was recorded at the Patterson Library in Patterson, New York. Special thanks to our sound engineer, producer, and composer, Adam Bernier, our library director, Stephanie Harrison, and our board of trustees, and to you, our listeners. I'm your host, Lillie Musenti. We'll see you next time on the Patterson Library Connection. The Patterson Library trustees and staff do not promote nor endorse the opinions of our guests.